Hey, welcome back, everybody. My name is Lauren, Master of Ceremonies for the evening, along with Socrates, Heroes of the Storm, Cavalier Guest. How's it going, man?
That's going really well. How you doing?
Good, man. Three really exciting games. Presumably saw the tail end of that last one. How are the games you did tonight?
Things were actually pretty good. We saw some interesting stun comp on BOE that didn't quite work out for reasons, but I don't know. I had fun casting tonight overall. I was proud of my teams. Some of the teams I've been following for quite a while, so it's been nice to see them improve as the season has gone on. How about your games?
They've been a lot of fun, man. Two Division 3 games, one Division 1 game. This last one is a Division 3 as well. Lord Boost says also, do you play Fox or Falco in Super Smash Bros. Melee for the Nintendo GameCube? Because the O in your name thingy looks like a reflector from that. I thought about that. I actually did play Falco, but it's more just a coincidence. BMAC ran some ideas by me on a logo, and I was like, that looks pretty cool. That's just kind of how it shaped up. But this last game,
It's tough, actually. It's surprisingly difficult to think of a good logo for your own channel. You're like, I don't know what characterizes me.
I know, like
it makes you understand why it's a full-time job for some people thinking up logos.
in some ways it felt a little pretentious, like, oh, I'm fancy enough to get a logo. Like, I don't know, I'm too humble a dude. But I like it. I think it's cool. People seem to care. People care for it. But both of these teams, Banzai Legends and Bad Dojas, have been kind enough, like they were already in the lobby, they had everything set up. They were very welcoming. Me and Cavalier in the lobby. They gave us when a set of teams give me the draft link. That I love it.
Yeah, it's nice. You don't have to do any of the admin work as a caster. You just show up and cast games. Actually, I was casting Heroes Lounge, their playoffs last weekend.
Oh, nice.
And like 6 straight hours, actually, I cast Heroes Lounge games. But I wanted to make sure all their playoff games got casted, just because it's their playoffs.
Right.
And they always sent me links and invited me in the lobby. I did nothing but cast. No admin of any kind.
European leagues, man. I saw the beginning of it.
Some really good games, actually. I'm very impressed with the level of the amateur scene in EU. Didn't really have a context for it before, but I know their scene's more active than ours in terms of their pro scene. They have more pro teams than we do, and I think that's reflected in the quality of their amateur scene. It's pretty interesting.
Cool. I think HGC will change that. I'm sure some of the pro players over here, like the Arthalons of the world, they look at HGC 2017 and they're like, hey. Oh, wait, I need to update the drafting. I got the last game's draft.
We'll have to see. I'm not sure Arthalon really likes Heroes of the Storm, is the thing. He doesn't like that he can't solo carry in it. And I think as long as that's the case, he'll never like the game. But I think there's going to be some up-and-comers that have been like on the fence about exactly how hard they want to work at the game as a team, that they might opt to try a little bit harder, do a little bit more, hoping to get into those last spots for the HUC, because they will have the open qualifier. But getting into this game, we are going to have Banzai Legends versus Bad Dojas. And Dragonshy will be the map. First, Ben Chen. Chen has been exceptionally annoying since his rework for a variety of reasons. And, of course, the follow-up ban is Samuro, because it's Samuro.
That tends to be the standard. I mean, we saw Chen last game. He was doing all kinds of work. Very instrumental to the success of the Smash Mouth All-Stars. Maybe not the Arthalons of the world. I can live with that.
Interesting decision. Go ahead.
I just think people like him that left the scene, they would at least have good reason to consider coming back, because I feel like Blizzard have definitely upped their game in showing commitment to the pro scene.
Agree with that. Wow. So Bad Dojas picks up Thrall Brightwing because Chen's banned out, so Thrall can actually win the solo lane against most other heroes. At worst, it's a skill matchup. They pick up Brightwing for the global, but then Banzai Legend is just like, nah, and goes Vikings.
Wait, the draft has started for you?
Yeah.
I'm over here clicking the button. I don't see it. Oh, they made a new one, 1986 now instead of 85. What is going on?
Okay,
Weird.
so they have Lost Vikings. We've actually
Hmm.
seen Faye play Vikings on Dragonshire extensively, and it's the most annoying bullshit in the world against a good Vikings player. Because you have this think about playing against a Rexar, right? You have this dynamic with Rexar where you put Misha on the point and Rexar soaks the lane, and you can't if you're trying to kill Misha, Rexar's soaking the lane for free. If you're trying to push Rexar off, you can't get the point because Misha's just sitting there. There's nothing you can really do against a Rexar, as almost any hero. Vikings can do the same thing with Olaf and Balog. And then you just send Eric mid, and you have a 4-man push bottom. And it's just like, what do you do to counter that? You have to have really good rotations, really good focus fire to get picks, to put pressure back on them. And it's just so difficult to deal with. And in the late game, with the Vikings able to literally solo the objective, is just annoying. It's the most annoying thing I think I've ever casted. We actually casted we casted it in the Bloodless qualifiers. We were duo casting that.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, when they
There's just literally nothing they could do.
dumpster
It
tier
was
superstars.
so bullshit. It was so bullshit. It's so annoying.
I think it's funny how the Vikings game has kind of evolved, because I think in the earlier stages people would just have like one Viking per lane, and I don't know if people really thought to have two Vikings in one lane like that. But once you see it on this map, it's just like I can't even do anything. Like Olaf and Balog, they just body me out of this lane. This blows. Like I'm not having a good time.
And they pick up Li Ming so that the resets aren't going to be a concern in the late game team fights. In the early game team fights, it doesn't really matter because Vikings are never with the team, but in the late game team fights, you can start to group them up. ETC will be banned out as a response. I like that ban. ETC is arguably the best tank to pair with Vikings comps because he has the highest skill potential and the highest peel in the 4v3s, 4v4s, and 4v5s that usually result. Jaina banned out by Banzai Legends, denying wave clear, but Bad Doge is like, that's fine. We'll just pick up Kael'thas. If you group up your Vikings in the late game, that'll be a lot of chain bomb spreading. But then they pick up Vala, and now they're going to they have relatively immobile, fragile backline with Brightwing as a soul support. It might be fine, given that there's no dive on Bad Doges yet, but they do pick up that Muradin, leaving them the only control tank in the game. And I feel like they need another frontliner. They need a lot of sustained damage or someone who can potentially set up for picks, something like a Kerrigan. I could see an argument for Butcher. I don't want to see Murd and Olaf be the only frontliners. That's all I'm saying.
I think Zarya could do some work here as well. But Cav, I'm surprised that Falstad hasn't made an appearance. Like I'm surprised they would ban Jaina over Falstad, and I'm surprised that Bad Doges would take Vala over Falstad in this situation.
I agree with you. Actually, I didn't even think about that, but denying globals is really important to dealing with Vikings. I'm surprised Bad Doges banned ETC instead of taking it, because if they'd taken ETC, they would have had stage dive, and it could have caught the Vikings unaware. They do pick up Tychus. Tychus is if you don't count the fact that Greymane in the very late game, because of his superior scaling, has more HP, Tychus has the most HP of any ranged hero. So that's going to make him very difficult to kill. That will potentially allow a lot of survivability and sustain in fights with Malfurion scaling over time. But I think it's a big risk, given that they don't really have any high HP targets. But then, as I say that, they pick up Stitches. And if Tychus has running gun, Murden has jump, Li Ming has teleport. The only good hook target is the Malfurion and maybe a Viking. Vikings will have jump post 13. I don't know what Stitches does for this comp.
I would have to agree. Hey, Blackfire, how's it going? Hope you're having a good night. I mean, there's always something to be said for taking heroes that you feel comfortable with, that you feel you can do the most work in, that maybe not exactly be the most meta-conscious. But, Cav, I agree. Like I would go back to the Falstad. I feel like Falstad would have gotten more value for Bad Doges over Vala in this situation. And there's a lot of mobility on the side of Banzai Legends. Like, you more or less have to hook Malfurion, or else I just don't see what Stitches does here.
I mean, they do have good follow-up to successful hooks. They will have traded gravity laps for that 1.5 second stun into the polymorph. They obviously won't have the root because Thrall will be busy in the top lane. They will have the burst from Vala with QW, and that's enough to kill. That's enough CC to kill pretty much anyone, assuming they don't get cleansed. Of course, cleanse won't happen until level 7, but they need to be crisp with the follow-up. The gravity lapse needs to go out as the hook goes out. You got to believe that that hook is going to hit in order for the follow-up to be perfect. And I don't know. I mean, I'm not familiar enough with this team to know if they're at that level in terms of hitting their hooks and their trust in the hooks hitting.
Yeah, I mean, that actually makes a really good point. I didn't consider it like that. Because, like, even Thrall's root after that should buy Kael'thas and Vala enough time to delete somebody. But that's just... Well, I mean, you can't even really rely on Thrall these early game because I would assume he'd be in the top.
In the solo lane, yeah.
So, I don't know. It comes down to their execution. The follow-up has to be there. But we'll see. Over on the left side, we do have the Banzai Legends. That Mr. Matt is on Murden. Mick Burger King is on the Lost Vikings. Magpie is playing Malfurion. Jai 006 is on Tychus. And the Doctor is in on Li Ming.
On the right-hand side of the map, we have the bad Doges. We have Balron on Thrall. I feel like there's supposed to be a T there, like Voltron, but it's Balron. Valeron bad A on Brightwing. Brosation on Vala. Deep Winter on Kael'thas. And Bones Jones on Stitches.
Have a good night, Diefear. Thanks for hanging out, man. The Vikings are actually committing one Viking apiece to a lane. Something of a surprise. I agree with you, Kev. I thought we would have seen Olaf and Balog in the top lane. But action at the bottom part. The root goes in. That Mr. Matt ate a ton of damage off the tower. The hook just misses Magpie. If that connected, he would have been going for sure.
And the focus on Mac Burger King was real there. He actually took the most damage of any hero. Not sure if focusing the Viking was where they wanted to go with that. We're going to see Thrall in the top lane. Poking on the Balog. Balog going to have a hard time with that backing up. And Olaf soaking mid, but still a 4-man bottom. And without a tank, without the hook, with the engage potential, they can go on this. We can see Murden and Li Ming rotating around. That Mr. Matt actually visible. I'm surprised that he's just standing there. Normally we would have seen a tank, especially a Murden, flanking, hiding in a bush, waiting for someone to overextend so he can get the jump stun. But he's just standing there, letting them know where he is. And that is not putting as much pressure on them as it could be.
Yeah, I mean, something that you potentially see at a Division 3 level is that there are room for things to do differently. I feel like if that Mr. Matt was in the bush, I agree with you. The Storm Bolt out of the bush and the Dwarf Toss follow-up, as we're starting to see now, can do work. Bones Jones on the ropes is able to get out of there. But that was a close call for sure.
It forces Stitches to tap. That does mean that the Elder, and he's jumping in and polymorph as the jump happens. Gonna take a lot of damage. That Mr. Matt was extremely low and does manage to get out of there. Balog does get picked off in the top lane. And the objective currently going to go over to bad Doges, but with Olaf there hanging out, he can make sure that doesn't get picked up until the bottom fight can be won. Kael'thas had to back, and they're forcing bot off. Veltron Bond A does get out of there, and the hook, but onto Murden, he just jumps out. The sun was not there.
Deep Winter throws out the gravity laps, and Flame Singer says Magpie is a she, not a he. I stand corrected. Thank you very much, sir. Assuming you're a sir. But then Olaf is going to go down in the mid lane thanks to Thrall's efforts. Some potentially missed soak is going to force Eric the Swift to the mid lane.
Another hook onto Tychus, run and gun, makes him absolutely 100% safe. Kael'thas did go convection though, and he is starting to stack this up. He's already at 6 stacks. He's managed to hit the increased flame strike on this one, but he's not using it straight on the stun for the hook, which would be the thing that would help secure these kills. And a beautiful root onto Voltron bad. And the Doctor threading the needle with his Q actually bypasses Paula and Kael'thas to secure that kill with magic missiles. Wow, that was beautiful.
The Doctor is in for sure. Getting the first takedown of the game. Brightwing probably felt like they were real casual being able to skate out of there, but nope. Magic Missiles have a thing or two to say about that, but Brightwing is already back. Voltron bad A, back for business. I'm starting to get Volron and Voltron interesting.
It's weird, isn't it? Right? Volron, but Volron in the top lane doing work against Viking. Olaf is going to back up. Balog is finally up there trying to help push that lane out and secure the objective with Eric in mid. This is the arrangement we expected in the beginning. And that's Mr. Matt. Can I get away, maybe? Oh my God, no, the one auto attack from Brosational. Let's finish it off, but Brightwing gets picked. Ends up being a 1-for-1. Brosational might actually go down here. The Doctor is going to hit the combo. Oh, 227 health, but nothing left in the tank. Is going to get out of there.
This has been a scrappy progression in the bot lane for sure. Action abound. One of the things I really love about Cherry League, all the divisions have crazy kinds of action. But Voltron is going to be able to take this top shrine back in the face of two Vikings. Olaf and Balog have now made their appearance in the top lane. Volron's life stands to be a good deal more difficult. Down in the bot lane, though, the pressure's on. They get the bottom well.
It's actually critical, because when you have the well gone and you're fighting this brutal fight in this lane, it's been all about the bottom lane so far this game. Without that well, they're going to lose a significant amount of their ability to tap and sustain. Every time they get chunked out, they're not going to have that option anymore. They're going to have to go all the way back, or actually back all the way to their Nexus. We are going to see Stitches rotate down here, forcing some engage momentarily. Here, Brightwing is not here, did back. Can Z back in, but Stitch is going to take a lot of damage, and if they get the stun off here, nope, that Mr. Matt doesn't have it. And Voltron is going to make the save with the Polymorph, and everyone's going to get out of there just fine.
I think they identified that they were fighting in a narrow corridor, and Deep Winter on Kel'Thas would have loved to do that. The hook does go in on Tychus. He does jump back. Further damage. Still, the Flame Strike sends him up. Another takedown. And
that's the first hook we've seen where there was immediate follow-up. The poly was basically instantaneous, and that's what you need to do with those hooks. You need to have that follow-up. Again, gonna get another hook. This time Murden goes down, but he was already very, very low. And Kel'Thas getting very close to finishing that quest. 14 out of 20 stacks.
I mean, Bones Jones has been hanging in the back, curling an evil mustache with some really nicely timed hooks. McBurger King gets Balog out of there. Voltron says, hang on, I want this top shrine. In the mid lane, Bones Jones rotates back to catch him soaked. They're actually a little bit behind in experience. But they're really starting to make this hook play work.
Oh, Volron goes all in on Balog, trying to get him. Balog does get away and tap. Olaf rotates up, going to take the shrine back, and slowly winning that lane, because Thrall can't be on the point and push the lane at the same time. It's so annoying. Eric is going to soak mid, and meanwhile just trying to struggle in this bot lane still. Nice route going on to Bones Jones. The Leaping follow-up is there, does a lot of damage, but not quite enough. He loses 200 health. Gonna get out of there. That Mr. Matt has to back off a little while. Let third wind kick in. Want to make sure he doesn't take any damage before he gets full up there. It does take a little bit. We're going to see Jay spread Chain Bomb? Maybe? Yeah, he does spread Chain Bomb. You don't want to do that.
Less than ideal, for sure. Both of these teams are level 9. And Ghost Dunk, to be fair, I did say the Doctor is in on Li Ming at the very beginning of the game. The hook from Bones Jones is going to take Eric Swift off of the altar. Almost got the first Dragon Knight of the game. But there's been non-stop action down the bottom part of the map,
and it's still going on. Like, the Li Ming's just constantly throwing out this combo. She did take Triumvirate at level 4, so she's getting that reduced cooldown. Just giant, deadly arcane orb after giant, deadly arcane orb going into their faces. And this is the kind of damage that, you know, Brightwing's not necessarily good at dealing. This heavy, heavy burst. Brosational and Deep Winter both have very shallow health pools. It's easy to take them down and get caught out of position. 10 picked up here. Avatar, play again. Tranquility. Actually surprised to see that given the amount of ability damage. I would have preferred to see Twilight Dream. And Disintegrate and Laser Drill. And they're going to get this bottom 4 with the drill, with that 10 advantage.
Yeah, I mean, I guess they're like, these have been some really long, dragged out fights. Maybe we'll get some more value off of Tranquility. Thrall actually is going to get taken down by the Triforce of Vikings.
You don't follow Vikings into a bush when they play again. That's just not how you play that matchup out.
But that might have huge implications. Bones Jones gets rooted. He's going to have to back out of there. Throws down the bile. The hook through the minions. Grabs Tychus. Tower damage almost sends him up. But McBurger King is going to be able to use one of the Vikings to get the first Dragon Knight of the game. And they're rocking and rolling on his mid lane, okay?
You're going to have a lot of push here from this Dragon Knight. He does get stunned, but of course it has that built-in Relentless. Tranquility gets popped. That Mr. Matt is extremely low. Emerald Wind essentially used for damage there. It does help disengage a little bit, but Brightwing ends up going down to the flank from the Doctor. A beautiful combo again. That is just precision work every single time. That's going to be another kill onto Thrall with the reset. Thrall does Sunder, but it's not enough, and that's going to be a 2 for none with all the lanes currently being soaked by the Vikings and a 4-man push with the Dragon Knight.
They may not be done yet. The orb just missed Brosational. That could have gotten interesting. Burger King rotates towards the top lane. They're going to take down both of these towers. I feel like they need to get the well most importantly out of this whole progression. Top lane isn't exactly the lane ending like part of the map you want to go for in Dragonshire.
No, they're looking at that board as a little experience bank. They do end up picking up the ball on the back end. I hope they stay for the well, actually. They'd have the laser down. There's no real reason to back off here. Olaf does get picked in the interim, and the well does go down to the minion wave, so beautiful work there. They got everything they wanted out of that. And play again, just to bring back Olaf from the dead. Meanwhile, going to split up. We haven't seen a lot of bribe used yet. We haven't actually seen any bribe used yet. Viking bribery at 116 stacks. He has enough to do quite a bit of work. Does end up bribing the bottom camp and going to start to do that. And Tychus starting bruisers. Looks like the teams are splitting up, doing the classic reset the map, trying to get as many camps as they can to push their lanes. But Banzai Legends is ahead in that regard. They're ahead in levels, they're ahead in structures, they're ahead in the camps they're going to be able to pick up. They're just all over the map, mostly because they have Vikings, and that's cheating.
I mean, when you have the Vikings, you stand to have a pretty good amount of soak. They're up 6 takedowns to 4. They've really been hanging on, dealing with these hooks, but Olaf is going to go down in the bottom lane. Siege camp was picked up for both sides, and so long as the members of the Bad Doja stay down in his bot lane to burn down the enemy team siege camp, they can look to establish some pressure down.
Looks like they're just going to go top. They're trying to get even further ahead in experience. They really don't even care about the sport. They just want the experience from it. And it's so funny. That Mr. Matt's going to end up tanking it until the camp does get here. And they're trying to invade, but they're still down a talent here, and this is currently a 2v4. Now it's a 3v4. Brightwing can come in, but Kael'thas is nowhere nearby here, and Ballrun is going to take a lot of damage. Might be able to get the pick here. Brightwing finally coming in with the Emerald Wind for the disengage, and this is now a 5v4. They're wanting back up here. Maggie, however, Magpie going to get hooked after that, and that's going to go down. The jump is not enough. And they did not want to do that. The one thing you don't want to do when you have Vikings is fight the 5v4. If it's a 5v3 or a 4v4 or whatever, it's fine. But as soon as everyone was there, they needed to back off. They were even invited to back off with that Emerald Wind, and they stuck around.
Ended up getting their snoots booped for their trouble. Bones, Jones, Brosational, and Deep Winter all low on health. Bet they wish they had their well right now. 15 to 13 though, they're on even talent tier. Shrine phase is up. Bottom Shrine is currently in possession. The jump is gonna save Baylog. Does the hook go out? No? He gets away.
Apparently it's not worth it to hook a Viking. Pretty standard talents across the board. Only odd talent we ever see is Strangling Binds on Malfurion for increased damage over the cleanse. Given the amount of lockdown, I'm a little bit surprised by that. And then Tychus actually picking up Concussion Grenade for the increased size and knockback distance. We almost always see quarterback for the increased range, allowing for increased poke and secure those long range, last second kills. But we're going to see a beautiful rotation up here. Brosational and Bones Jones on the point. Muradin with the jump in, and the Reaver. We're going to see the root, and that is a dead Mala.
Not only that, but it paves the way for a level 16 tier advantage. Bones Jones is like, I'm sorry guys, I was just kidding. I would really like to leave. The Sundering is trying to pave an exit for him. He's doing a pretty good job, but that route is for sure. Magpie lands that. Stitches goes up.
We talk about never wanting to fight down talenters, but that's a really concrete example. If it wasn't for Mouth having hardened focus, that route would not have been available for that additional lockdown, and Stitches probably would have gotten out of there with the putrid bile use. Instead, he just died because the root was there. And again, fighting Vikings in a bush. Play again comes down. Brightwing is gonna almost die. No, Kael'thas with the tri-stun ends up barely saving her. But that Mr. Matt seems to have a little bit of communication. He was chasing with body blocking, and his team was backing off like, no, man, we got it. We just got the point. It's fine. A little bit of miscommunication there, but Viking mid gonna be able to secure it. Tychus is zoning Vala out, and that's gonna be another Dragon Knight going over to Banzai Legends.
I mean, Burger King is getting all types of value out of the Lost Vikings. He's been able to pull the jump scare twice with the play again in the bush. He's been in control of the Dragon Knight both times. They still have a level 16 tier advantage, but look at this. Bad Doja's on the flank, gets spotted out. One of the members, Voltron, Brightwing gets kicked out. Brosational at half health, starts to back away. Putrid Bile goes in, trying to slow down the members. That Mr. Matt, isolated for the moment. He's the target. Avatar keeps him up. Brightwing's the first to drop. Sundering can't do anything to save him.
That avatar was literally used on cooldown. He didn't have it at the start of that fight. I bet he was panicking a little bit, looking at that button. It does come up in time, though, and he's going to be absolutely fine. And I like this decision overall by Banzai Legends. They could have gotten the middle fork very easily, but they opted to push into bot lane. They wanted to secure a keep. They wanted to open up that win condition. Another kill for Li Ming, and wow, the Doctor has just been so good this game.
The Doctor's been in and on. Kappa. Bottom keep is going to get claimed. Stun goes in, follow up from heavy impact, rooted in place. Bones Jones is waiting to walk away, ends up going away.
I almost question if Dampen Magic wasn't the pickup for Stitches here at level 1 over Hungry for More. I'm a huge fan of Hungry for More, but he's been so constricted in his laning that he hasn't been able to stack it up very, very quickly. It's not the best against Tychus, and he's just been getting erased by Li Ming.
I mean, it's been tough. What I've been noticing, the times that Bad Doges have been successful, Bones Jones goes out there, eats a bunch of damage, he gets low on health, he backs away. But then he turns around and hooks someone because they've kind of extended forward to get him. They haven't really been able to do that because he's been going down these past few occasions. They need to change their strategy a little bit if they want to turn this around.
Yeah, and they've been dealing with the additional lockdown, tenacious, hard and focus, meaning roots are up more often. Heavy impact is available now for Muradin. They've been dealing with these huge CC chains where they're just locked in place, and Muradin or Tychus and Li Ming with all that lockdown just have it's like a shooting gallery. Brightwing didn't take cleanse. They really don't have a solution to this style of play anywhere in their composition, and that's a beautiful hook. But he was alone, no follow up. Goes for Future Bile just to zone the push on the middle keep. 20-16 now. The Vikings soaking so effectively, and I don't know if Banzai Legends can win this fight, or can lose this fight, honestly.
Well, I mean, they got Muradin quite low. He does have Avatar. Tranquility pops, but so do Thrall and Kael'thas. Emerald Wind trying to make this stop. Bones Jones, again the target, finds himself having quite the time. Peeling for his backline on Stitches. This one's starting to run away from him, okay?
That's 2 dead. This is a 4-man push mid. Vikings can just back off and get the objective solo. See them already starting to rotate. Balog is going top. Eric is going bottom. Olaf is actually pushing with the bottom wave, getting the well so that the wave can start to focus on core. But he can send one of the Vikings mid after he caps. And Bad Doges is stuck in their base. They're not leaving. They literally are in a position where they cannot leave their base because all of the entrances are pushed in and they have vision. They'll get dismounted. They won't be able to get there in time. This is a guaranteed Dragon Knight for Banzai Legends.
I mean, this is more and more starting to look like the game. They have to somehow hold out, not die, wait for Vala to come back, and then hope they can turn things around. If you are going to turn things around, though, Cap, it starts with taking Tychus out. Potentially a huge momentum swing.
It certainly starts with hooks. Hooks are their only real tool to win this match. If 16-second cooldown, if they can get a kill every 16 seconds for the rest of the game, they'll be in good shape. But Thrall, unfortunately, too far forward, ends up going down. That is middle keep gone. And Emerald Wind, again, coming out, not really doing anything. Deep Winter is extremely exposed. Heavy impact into the root, ends up going down. Balog dies, but that's going to be core. I think trading a Viking for core is pretty reasonable. Seems like a good trade.
You know, if it was up to me, I'd be a little heartbroken, but I would in fact trade a Viking for a core.
That last kill was a moral victory, though. They did get 1 kill on the Doctor. Been punishing them all game, been just throwing out balls of devastating arcane energy all game. Finally got that 1 kill. Totally worth it.
Well played by both teams, but at the end of the day, I just feel like some of the holes in the composition for Bad Doges just proved to be too much to overcome. I did not agree with the Stitches pick. I think you need to play all kinds of aggressive and in-team fights before they start by just yanking somebody out of position and deleting them, and then the enemy team just has to leave. That never really happened.
It happened like once or twice, and every time it happened, they got the kill. But the follow-up was just not there. We didn't see Kael'thas trading his stun. We didn't even see Kael'thas throwing out his stun to follow up the hooks. Occasionally we saw the polymorph, and when the polymorphs hit right after the hook, we saw a kill like 100% of the time, but otherwise we just didn't see kills from the hooks.
It didn't lead to too much afterwards, unfortunately. I mean, so there was that. I think if that was an ETC or something like that, they would have fared much better. I think if that Vala was a Falstad, that would have fared much better. Because you can use Falstad to kill the Vikings. He kills the Vikings. He flies to a different part of the lane. He creates, mismatched situations, and he offers you more mobility to get the Dragon Knight. I think if they had ETC and Falstad instead of Vala and Stitches, they would have been better served.
I agree. 100%. Nothing to add. I agree.
So, I mean, the player was there. It's just the composition didn't really... They had a very narrow margin to really excel on that map against the Vikings. It was going to be tough.
And it's just, and dealing with Vikings is hard on that map in particular. People, if you're not familiar with how Vikings play out on Dragonshire, you're just going to be in a lot of trouble because they're actually devastating to deal with. It's almost like the Rexar pocket pick that we occasionally see, but it's worse because they can handle top lane, the objective, the soak, and mid lane. And it's so difficult to deal with. I've actually yet to see a team, including pro teams in this, deal with it 100% effectively. Sometimes they'll pull out a win just from a few late game team fights that they win from behind. But I've never seen a team stay even against that composition on Dragonshire with the Vikings. I haven't seen it. I'm sure it's possible. I just haven't seen it.
I think you would have to be just so much better than the other team that the compositions don't even matter. Like, you would have to crush the 4-man to where they're just all dead, and then you have time to rotate around and get the Vikings afterwards. At least early to mid game, it's just a lot to deal with. It is a lot to deal with.
And in fairness, you do need to be a relatively good Vikings player to 1v1, or essentially your 2v1 in the solo lane top. And your team needs to really believe that you can do that so that they stay bottom and stay with the push. But obviously, McBurger King has put in the time. I was very impressed with the Vikings play. He was everywhere on the map when he needed to be. He was predicting where he needed to be. Because the Vikings don't have a mount. You need to think about where your Vikings need to be 20, 30 seconds in advance. And he was literally standing on the shrines as they spawned in the majority of cases, especially in the late game where the map was just strangled out. He knew where he needed to be before he needed to be there, and he was just there. He's put in the time.
The name McBurger King, it makes sense to me, Cav. You ready for this? Because
sure.
he had it his way, and he was loving it.
Oh, God. That was a whopper. That's what that was.
Yes. Yes, Cavalier. Yes. This is why I love casting with you, man. Because I get to bring that out in you. I bring that out in you. Yes. Yes. All right, cool. What a great way to end the night, man. Great set of games. Cavalier guest slides in for the duo cast. Always a pleasure. This is the Socrates Zero Storm. If you haven't followed this guy, what was it? Exclamation point co-caster. Follow this guy. He's the Socrates Zero of the Storm.
Your co-caster tonight is Halloran.
Womp womp.
Halloran doesn't know how his own chat commands work. I understand that though.
I
we have
didn't
mods who do who like volunteer, and we love them and do some of the stuff for us. Sometimes we just don't know how stuff works in our channel.
Oh wait, no, that's right. See, there's a specific. Right, sorry, you okay? See, I remember it was something like that. A crown royale with cheese. I should keep this new Lauren co-caster around. That was the play of the game. Thank you. Cavalier's face. He's just there. He's just stuck. He's just like, that's Lauren. That's Lauren being a Lauren. What can I say?
I mean, I wouldn't want to interrupt that. Who'd want to interrupt you being yourself? That'd just be rude.
Well, I obviously had fun. I hope everybody hung around had fun as well. Oh Lord! Oh, I don't know if you noticed, Cav. I slid in the boop snoot in there for Lord Boo.
I did. I noticed. I'm sure Lord Boo noticed too.
You're welcome, Lord Boo. Get your snoot booped.
I'm not sure where anatomically snoots are located. I've been trying to boop them on my own, but it's a little bit difficult.
Now, see, I actually have a theory about that.
Oh. Well, do tell.
Let me see if I can find it. See, when he says, like, get your snoot booped, this I'll show on the stream what I think it is, or I'll show what it makes me think of. And I think the longer that I wait to do this, I'm sure people are like, what the hell is he about to show? But it's okay. It's okay. Promise. This is what I think. And I guess I'll send it. It's just a picture of Brian from Family Guy, the dog. Just this big nose. You just put a fist right in the snoot. Just boop. That's what I think. Just right in the face. So, see, a snoot is a nose. Got it. Nailed it. See? Got him.
Oh man.
See, Brian
from Family Guy does have a really large nose. I can totally see where you're going with that.
That's whenever he said Snoop, that's what it was. Right in that. Just boop. It's right in there.
100% see where you're going with that.
See? I'm looking at the replay. I'm like doing all this.
Mrs. Zuki, oh my god, Cav need a poem. It's not even my stream, guys. I'm not going to do a poem on someone else's stream.
The guest spot poem?
The guest spot poem? Would you guys like a poem? Halloran, you okay with me reciting a poem?
The guest spot poem. Mrs. Zuki asked for it.
Do you have a well, it's your stream. Do you have a request?
Oh, I'm not cultured enough to have a from the hip poem request.
You don't have any poems that you like? Your entire life, you've never heard one poem. You're like, I like that poem.
Only the ones I've written.
Well, send that to me. I'll recite that one.
No, man, no.
Ah, yeah, you put that out there. That was your fault.
I did.
You walked into that one.
That's fair. Lord Boo said, I don't really have a favorite poem, man. I leave it to Socrates. All right. I'm just out here. So Brian is the Snoop Doggy Dog. That's fair. Lauren can't afford Kaz's poems.
I know what we're doing.
There we go.
We're doing How Did You Die by Edmund Vance Cook. Did you tackle the trouble that came your way with a resolute heart and cheerful? Or hide your face from the light of day with a craven soul and fearful? Oh, a trouble's a ton, or a trouble's an ounce, or a trouble is what you make it. And it isn't the fact that you're hurt that counts, but only how did you take it? You are beaten to earth? Well, what's that? Come up with a smiling face. It's nothing against you to fall down flat, but to lie there, that's disgrace. The harder you're thrown, why the higher you bounce. Be proud of your blackened eye. It isn't the fact that you're licked that counts. It's how did you fight, and why? And though you be done to death, what then, if you battled the best you could? If you played your part in the world of men, why, the critic will call it good. Death comes with a crawl, or comes with a pounce, and whether he's slow or spry, it isn't the fact that you're dead that counts, but only how did you die?
That was deep, man.
It's one of my
Wow.
favorites.
That was good. That was really good. So true. Changing lives out here, Kat. You came here for the chair league casting, and you stayed for the soul-inspiring, poetic wit of Cavalier Guest.
And I will be at BlizzCon, by the way. There's been some requests already for me to recite live poetry at BlizzCon. It might be a thing that happens. We'll have to see.
Keep me in mind. I want to be there for that.
I will keep you in mind.
Azuki's gonna be there too.
Yeah. Izuki may or may not be the one who requested that I recite poetry.
Oh, all right. Yeah. See. Everybody wins. I really just says gangster. But all right, guys, it's been a lot of fun. 4 chair league games, capped off by a great one. Thanks to Banzai Legends, Bad Doges, the other teams, to this man right here, the Socrates, the Heroes of the Storm, for not only jumping in with the co-cast, but rousing the spirit with a poem. I really did like that, man. That was cool.
I really like poetry. And I think a lot of people don't understand that most poetry is designed to be read aloud. You actually have to hear it for it to like sound right. And so they read it on the page and they're like, I don't really get it. And then you read it aloud to them and they're like, oh, that makes way more sense. It feels so good. So for those of you not familiar with my stream, I do a poem every 100 followers. So if you want to hear more poetry, just go follow my stream and then hang around, and there will be poems.
There you go. And you know what, man? If I get 2,000 followers on Twitch someday, I will give you a poem, a Halloran poem to read.
You guys heard him. Make sure you follow and gets those follows. I know we all want to do that. I know I want to do that.
And it'll be a legit poem. Like I will. It will be a real. It's not gonna be like a cat in a hat. Like
Hey, don't knock the cat in the hat.
Well, I mean, it's just not gonna it will be a sincere poem. So if I hit 2,000, I'm at 1,092 right now. So it would be a ways away. But if it ever happened,
I'm sure it will. I'm sure you'll get there. And I'm going to remember. I'm going to hold you to this.
Oh my God, dream come true. Right?
For those of you who don't know what we're giggling at, you should read chat.
For real. For sure.
But
fun time as always, Cav. Fun time as always, viewers. Chair League is always a good time. I'm sad that this is like the last regulation week.
Yep. But I mean, the season has to end eventually.
Yeah, it'll be back though. Got the playoffs ahead of us as well.
We do indeed.
But for now, it's gonna be it. Thanks for hanging out, guys. Really appreciate it. Some follows as well earlier. Chopster and Prison Breaker. And Ghost Dunk. Ghost Dunk is like, all right, I heard Cavalier Guest. I heard him read a poem. We got to get him to read a poem. So, thanks for that. Someone highlight that. I'm not shying away from it. If I hit 2,000, there will be a Halloran poem read. So
there's that. Here first, folks.
There's that. But for now, we're going to call it a night. Thanks for hanging out, guys. Really appreciate it. Until next time, I am Halloran. Thanks for all the follows. I'm on Twitter at _Halloran. This is the Socrates. Heroes of the Storm Cavalier Guest. You can find him on Twitch, twitch.tv/Cavalier Guest. And also on Twitter. Be sure to follow him there also. Cool guy. Respect him a lot. Oh, see? He's just a swell guy. He's just a swell guy. See? Look at him. Are those cheeks turning a little red there, Cat? Oh, you. Oh, you.
Oh, wow. All right, we should kill the stream.
All right. You guys have a great night. See you.
Have a good night, everyone.